Makato and the Cowrie Shell. Once upon a time, there was a boy whose name was Makato. He was an orphan, for his mother and father was dead when he was very young. He had no brothers, sisters, cousins, or friends to take care of him. So he had to make a living for himself. He did every kind of work, carrying heavy things, clearing away the forest, or feeding pigs. He never idled over his work, although he was paid only a small wage.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
He was satisfied. He knew that if he did not work, he would starve. Wherever he went, his employer praised him for being sensible, hardworking, good-tempered, and cheerful. After he had finished chopping up a big pile of wood, he sat down for a rest and thought of all he would like to be in the future. He wanted to try his luck in far-off strange lands, for he longed for exciting adventures.
So definitely, my boy.
What are you thinking so deeply, my boy? Asked his employer.
I would like to go on a journey for adventure.
Said Makato, pointing to the northeast.
I've heard that the land over there is fertile, and the people are so kind. I wish I could see the land of myself.
The land you wish to go is called Sokotai.
Said his employer.
They say Parua of Sokota is very kind-hearted king. You might be lucky if you could go there.
Sometime later, Makato decided to try his fortune. He left his village and set out into the wide world. He walked alone, cheerfully, seeing new sights and talking to the people he met on the way.
Welcome to Sokotai. Hi.
After months of journey, he reaches a village on the frontier of the kingdom of Sukhothai.
Please, can I have some water to drink?
Makato asked an old woman with a big pot on her head.
I'm so thirsty.
Where did you come from? Why are you here alone? You look as if you would come a long way.
Said the old woman, pouring cold water from her pot into a small cup and handing it to Makato.
Thank you so much.
Said the boy.
Who are your mother and father? Haven't you any family?
The old woman asked again. Oh,
I haven't either father nor mother. I come from the city of Moon, over there.
replied Makato.
Good heavens, have you really come from the city of Mon? How is it that you are traveling alone such as a young boy as you are?
I wanted to see the Paruwang of Sukhothai.
Replied Makato.
You are a determined boy. Come along with me.
Go. Makato was glad to go with her. If he could work for this kind woman, he would have a place to sleep, some food to eat, and perhaps someday he might be lucky enough to see the king. Go. The old woman's husband was one of Praruang's mahouts, which meant that he helped look after the hundreds of elephant sheds. A tall young man in a splendid costume, followed by attendants, came in. It was Praruang himself before him. His heart beat fast.
Where did that boy come from? We came all the way from the city of...
Said the old mahout, bowing. He heard so much about you, your majesty, that he longed to see you,
A good-looking and hard-working boy.
said the king,
Good care of him.
as the king walked away. Go. Makato saw a little cowrie shell lying on the ground. He ran to pick it up and held it out to the king. But the king said with a smile,
You may keep it. You may keep it.
How wonderful! Makato thought, the king has given me a cowrie shell. At that time, the people of Sakata used cowrie shell as money. Although one cowrie shell had little value, Makato wanted to make as much use of it as possible, for it was the king's gift.
I could grow a small plant like that.
He asked the jolly-looking woman at the stall,
Buy some lettuce seed.
Oh yes, my boy. How much do you want?
said the woman.
I have one cowrie shell.
Said Makato,
One cowrie shell.
said the woman laughing.
That won't buy anything. I can't even measure that much.
Look!
Said Makato eagerly. I'll dip my finger into a pile of seeds, then I'll take the seeds that stick to it. That must be about right for one cowrie shell,
Well, why not?
said the woman, amused at his suggestion.
All right, boy. All right, boy. Help yourself.
Makato paid the woman his one cowrie shell. Then he put his finger into his mouth and dipped it into a pile of seeds. When he pulled his wet finger, it was covered with seeds. He carefully scraped them off the finger into the palm of his hand and went away happily, clutching the seeds. Makato broke the soil and sowed them at once. He watered the seed day by day, and soon the young plants appeared. Day by day he cleared more ground and planted more lettuce seedlings, until the kitchen garden was covered with them. He was very proud of himself because he had done so well.
I wish I could give the king some of my fine lettuce.
He thought. One day, the king passed by the elephant sheds again. Makato waited his opportunity, then climbed down and proudly presented his biggest bunches of lettuce to the king.
I grew them from the cowrie shells you gave me, your majesty.
Answered Makato with a beaming smile.
How could you do that?
Asked the puzzled king. Makato told the king the whole story. The king was impressed with his intelligence and industry. So much so that later on he gave Makato a job in the palace. As the years passed, Makato grew tall and handsome. He was promoted to higher and higher positions until he was given the title of Kunwang, which means that he was the most important person in the king's court. Also happily married to a very beautiful young daughter of the king. Made him the ruler of Moon. So it was that Makato, who had once been a poor orphan and became the king of Sukhothai, that is a prosperous kingdom.